Good afternoon. Welcome to Being Whole, Being Me series, and welcome to our series today. It's Friday, 17th September. Thank you for joining us. I don't know about you. I was really hoping that I would be a lot more zen, but I've been trying that for my whole life. I've not been successful, which is why today I've invited a guest, Master Manisekaran, who is all zen. And I'm going to try and see whether I can shift my energy to be a lot more like him. But if you're like me and you've been wondering whether yoga is overrated, we have the master who's going to be talking to us. So let's, without wasting any time, welcome Master Manisekaran of My Yoga Academy. Let's bring him on. Hello.
Hello, Malar. How are you?
I'm good. So first I must say, good afternoon, Master Manisekaran, because if I don't call you Master, all your pungikut all will get very upset. So I say that in case I forget to call you Master later, all right?
Malar,
Yes.
no need to be formal. You've been calling me Money for the last 20 years. So please call me Money or Manisekaran. Money lah, Money. Money. For you, Money. All right? Okay,
For me,
cool?
it's money, yeah?
Money, yes. Thank you so much for having me here, Malar.
Nice, nice. Who is Turiya Deva?
Turiya Deva is my student.
Okay.
He has been my student from Form 4. He attended a yoga camp when he was 16 years old. Now he is 25. He graduated from University Malaya as an electrical engineer. Smart student, all A's all the time. But those A's, I think, versus the A in his character and upbringing is just super A. Wonderful, wonderful guy, young man, super creative.
Whoa, Turiya
Yes.
Deva. Turiya Deva. How do I pronounce his
Turiya.
name?
Turiya Deva.
Turiya Deva. Okay,
Yes.
you've got a lot of good things coming from your master. So, I mean, that's good, except that he gave away your age, which he shouldn't have, but never mind. So, I'm going to just welcome a couple of people, say hello to them, and see who's here to support you. Kanagambige is also here. She has given you a smiley. I think it's Visurti Nadan.
Yes. Namaskar. Namaskar.
She has said namaskar, and she is expecting today to be awesome. Yes, we will do our best, but I'm sure your master is here, so it will be awesome. My good friend Gerald is here. He says a wonderful afternoon to Malar, and all looking forward to learning heaps today. Thank you for this. Yeah, he's hoping. He's also I don't know whether he is yoga fan or a skeptic, but we'll find out today as we go along. So I thought usually when we start our session, we will start with what we call, let's get to know you kind of a thing, right? And we'll end with rapid fire. But I thought let's start with some fun questions to ask you as to some of these misconceptions or the right conceptions that we hold about yoga. All right. So
Sure.
all you have to do is yes, no, and right? Okay. So so yes or no, and if you want to continue and finish up the sentence, go ahead and do it. All right. Yoga is an art.
It is an art. It is an art. It's an art in performance, but the benefits are very scientific. So it's art in performing, but the benefits are scientifically valid.
Now I don't have my second question because my second question was supposed to be yoga is a science, but cannot. Okay. All right. Yoga. So I like this. So yoga is in art. You say it's an art of performance.
When you're performing, it's an art. It's an art because you use your creativity, you flow with it. It allows you to feel yourself and your connection within. So it's an artistic feeling, just like a person who is painting or playing music. They feel so connected within themselves. This is art. But after the practice, the feeling of like you feel your digestive system is good, you feel the clarity of your mind, you feel more energetic, something is happening inside. So that's where the science comes in, and we have so much of scientific data to say and prove that your adrenalines and the adrenaline system is being calm down. You are not going to get this adrenaline burnt out, where a lot of people wake up in the morning and say, what is life? You know, so those kind of things is not going to happen to a person who is practicing yoga. So that's where the science comes in. And also when we look at the data that are coming in about stress management, oh my god, I think so valid. Yoga should be there available for all. And Malar, you are doing such a good wonderful service here, because you want to demystify yoga from that Zen high up in the Fuji mountain kind of concept and worship, bringing it down and saying, I'm talking to money.
Okay. now, so we've brought you down from the Himalayas now. That's what you're saying.
You have to bring, because I'm not in the Himalayas, I'm in Malaya.
Nice. Thank you very much. Because I think we all have visuals of what yoga is and what yogis do. And we have a picture of how people should be. And I thought, after talking to you, first and foremost, you demystified it for me. So I'm a little bit more daring to say, okay, guys, okay, might be able to do yoga. All right. So let's see what yoga makes us to be, because you say it's an art and the benefits are scientifically proven. And I've been reading about it. And that's what really excites me. And I'm very grateful to have you here, right? So yoga makes me patient. It means after I learn yoga, I'll never get angry.
Never is a very strong word. I hope that we never get angry, but it's a continuous journey. I mean, like, you are aware. This is what yoga does. You are aware of what is happening, but the control mechanism comes in after some years of practice. Then you have a better control of that emotion which is coming in. Now, certain emotions you can let go. If you feel happy, you let go. You don't have to control it. But can I use this word, like annoyed or angry or irritated?
Yes, you are allowed to use the most human word so that we know you're human.
So these are emotions which come out spontaneously, and when there is no control, gives a lot of damage to relationships and well-being in the workplace, in the family. This outburst can be managed through yoga. But again, we have to see what type of yoga, Mala. If it is the yoga that is more like aerobics, nothing wrong with aerobics, nothing wrong with physical exercises, fine. Anyone can do anything. But if we are, as you mentioned just now, can yoga allow me to be more patient? Yes, yoga can. But we must understand which yoga, what type of yoga. Maybe later we can discuss about that.
You're saying yoga is not just about poses, like? I personally, no. So, basically, when we talk about yoga, we are saying, I can do this pose, I can that pose, and I do all sorts of pose to show how agile my body is, how strong I am, and that sense, like it's a hype, right? Because you see, everyone seem to be into yoga, and it's really hyped up. So you're saying it's not just that.
See, Malar, this is a very important and very popular question. And it's an 80 billion US dollar question, because yoga, when I started 25 years ago, when I started teaching, it was a $10 billion industry. Today, it's almost 100 billion US dollar industry. So I tell you, there's so much happening in the yoga world. And as much of what is happening is also the confusion. And amidst this chaos and confusion, one good thing that has come out is people are asking now, what is yoga? Where is the real one? Because there has been many layering, many layers and diversions and distractions has taken place. So many people now call me, ask that, is this authentic yoga? Is this the real one? So what is the real one? Now, yoga is, as you mentioned, you asked me whether it's only the postures. Now, postures is the most popular. Okay. Many years ago, people want to have photos of people meditating. right? You can see a lot of the advertisements, meditation, close the eyes, meditate. Now is all postures, splits, scorpion, handstand, the triangle poses. Is so popular. The poses are so popular. Nothing wrong with the postures. Nothing wrong with the exercise portion of it. But the major number of calls that I receive is that I am not flexible. So can I practice yoga? Or I am not slim. Can I practice yoga? I am not young. Can I practice yoga? These are the reasons why you should practice yoga. That means the perception out there is that I must be slim, I must be young, I must be flexible, I must be of a certain age in order to practice yoga. This is something which we must, I am doing a lot to clear these misconceptions. I invite everyone, anybody of any body type, any physical conditions to come, because yoga is as simple as stretching your fingers. As simple as that. As simple as just moving your arm up and then just stretching to one side. As simple as that. Whatever we see in the magazines, whatever we see in the TV shows, they are advanced postures. Fine for those who are advanced practitioners. But the major number of the population, the biggest portion of population are beginners. But this is where the discord is. 70 to 80% of the population are at the beginning level. All the advertisements are of advanced level. So this is where people get confused. They see all these TV shows, these talk shows, the posters all showing all the advanced postures, but majority of the people just want to do something very simple. And it is not like cycling or playing football or swimming. Yoga really has that kind of connotations about flexibility and contortions, which I tell you really puts fear into people. Malar, if you want to consider, the first thing you'll be thinking, oh my God, am I flexible? Flexibility is something that none of us have. We are not flexible. We have to work towards it. Babies are flexible. Come on, they keep on doing cobra pose all the time. 7-8 months they do cobra pose. They sit like in the Japanese sitting posture. They are flexible. But after the age of 7, 8, when they start going to school, having all this junk food, flexibility, hilang, man, disappears. We have to work on it slowly. There is so many asanas. Asanas means the yoga postures. So many we can do. We can start very simple, basic stretches. Please remember that the word yoga itself, Malar, is friendly. The word yoga is harmony. Yoga is not the culture of pushing yourself beyond capacity. Therefore, this phrase, no pain, no gain, has no place in yoga. It has to be thrown out of the window here. Our concept in yoga is, if there is pain, there is no gain in yoga. If there is pain, if you do the stretch and if you have pain, the body is telling, please, Malar, don't torture me. Give me, release me from this pain. Now, Malar, when we get up in the morning, those days we used to do this. We used to get up in the morning.
Huh?
Sorry, this is the computer stretch.
You were trying to do a pose for us, right?
Yeah. Now, when we got up early in the morning those days, we used to do stretches, right? But nowadays we don't have time. We don't have that time to do the stretches. But remember, when you do the stretch in the morning, how did you feel? You feel good. Therefore, stretches are all pleasurable. So how come now when they do yoga, it's painful? It is all about sweat. It is about slimming. It is about improving my flexibility, like I'm preparing for the Olympics or the SEA Games. No. Yoga is something which is very friendly. Everyone should have access to yoga because yoga is such a therapy. So this word therapy has to come in. Therapy for not only our body but also our mind. Our breathing has to come in connection with our body and our emotions. So the stretch has to be accompanied with the breath. Nice deep inhalation. Oh, such a nice feeling. This is yoga. This is the yoga that has been handed out by the yogis. Who are the yogis? The yogis are people who practice yoga. Yogis are not those who are, kind of like saints, or those who are out of reach, those who are godlike. You put them up and on the pedestal and you don't go near them. You wish you want to be like that, but you can't. No, yogis are people like you and I. In the history of yoga, we find people who are householders. Householders means people who are married, have children. Okay, now forget about nowadays. A lot of people want to stay single. Staying in society, yoga is for you. In fact, when I read the literatures of yoga, I'm so happy to note that the yogis say that yoga is for the grihasta. Yoga is for the householder. Yoga is not for the renunciates. The renunciates are not stressful. What do they need yoga? They are up there in nature, in the Himalayas, in the caves, eating good food, good fruits, vegetables, breathing in good air. They don't need yoga. We
So
need yoga.
I'm curious now because that was
Ah,
supposed to be one of my questions. So does yoga decrease my sex drive?
okay, I have to, or I will answer this now. It's okay. I'm married, so I see it balances. I want to be careful. Now, if it is already in high drive, I would, let's say you ask me to go to a prison to give speech to the prisoners, and there you have people who have been convicted of rape and all that. Can I say, hey, this one is going to increase your noise? Can't, right? So yoga balances. If it is very low, it pushes it up. If it is very high, very dangerous, getting people into trouble, it brings it down. We have many news now. People who are very high profile governors of counties overseas who get caught in a sex scandal and all that. Too high. So those guys should practice yoga to bring it down. Those who are not responsive, nothing, zero. The girlfriend touches also. So bring them up. Balance, balance. Yoga is balance. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for answering that because I think we
Uh,
do hold this picture of people who practice yoga, or when we see people in poses of yoga, that they are sannyasis and they're celibate and that sort of a thing. I think it is about perception, and and because you said it is made for the household people, I thought I can inject the question in because, but you also imply, right? I mean, what you said just now implied that married people are more stressful than single people are.
did I say that?
Yes, no, you didn't say that, but there was an implication, and I think it is a fair implication because the more relationships we are in, the more entangled we become, and when we become more entangled, there's a lot more things to manage, right? And for you to manage, you need to stay calm, and to stay calm, you need to stay anchored within, right? And I believe that's my understanding of my definition of yoga that I've held on to, and I'm going to change my mind today, hopefully, is about the union with the self, because you did say it's connection, right? So when when we are not connected within, when a part of us is disconnected, right, that's where confusion happens, right? And you said it beautifully just now when you actually explained about emotions, expressing positive emotion and managing some outbursts of emotion, right?
Right.
Outbursts in the sense that it's not wrong, it's not angry to be wrong, it's not wrong to be angry, it's not wrong to be annoyed, but are we able to manage it to say that I will do this when I want to, not because I had no control over it, which is why, it's you use the word management, right? Which
Yep.
brings us to really now. I thought I was clear about yoga. Now I'm becoming more confused. I'm going to ask you, what is yoga? Before you do that, people are so excited. I asked you the sex drive question. You see, more people are coming in. See, if I knew, I would have asked this earlier, but never mind. They were all wanting to ask you, but only I dared ask you. So I'm just going to just welcome a couple of people. Hi, James. We have Mr. Gopalan from India. Hi, good morning, Mr. Gopalan. James Fung is here, our very local owned captain. Hi, James. Visurti says so many miracles and beauties are happening through the practice of yoga. Mahasam says harmony within us with yoga. Ibrahim says yoga from the universe. And I think, well, Ibrahim, thanks for saying it, because I think there's also a misconception that yoga is a religious belief, right? Or it's a religious practice, right? So maybe while we are at Ibrahim, you can just tell us, is yoga a religious practice? Like, I'm sure you get this question, right?
Yeah, all the time. All the time. And this has caused a lot of confusion and controversies, Malar. And people are not wrong to say this, because when we talk about yoga, we have hatha yoga, we have raja yoga, we have jnana yoga, we have karma yoga, bhakti yoga. So there are five paths of school. Yeah. The first one which I want to talk about is called hatha yoga. Hatha yoga is the physical part of it, which we will come back later. The physical part of it, which we are now speaking about more. Hatha means sun and moon, like the yang and the yin. That is the physical part of it. Then we have the next one, which is called the raja yoga. Raja Yoga is more for the mind, meditation, contemplation, and sometimes people chant. This is where the controversies. I'll come back to that. But you see, the thing is, when we want to do like a even simple prayer, if one is very kind of like stressed, or you have a lower back pain, or you have a digestive problem, or you have a headache, you cannot pray in peace. You cannot do meditation. So therefore, this hatha yoga is so important, the foundation. That first is we go into hatha yoga, we do the practices, we feel good physically, we feel good, we feel healthy. Then the mind becomes clear. When your body is healthy, a healthy body produces a healthy mind. So your body is healthy, the mind is clear. You close your eyes when you do the yoga practices. After some time, you want to close your eyes because you feel so centered. I wouldn't use the word zen or calm, but you feel centered, you feel stable, and you want to close your eyes and you want to find out what's happening in my mind. First time in my life, I am able to see clearly the thoughts that are flowing. Earlier, I was just a victim of my thoughts. Whatever thoughts came, I couldn't control it. I have this problem of managing my thoughts. Many people think that they are the thoughts. If they won't say, I have a thought of anger. No, they say, I'm angry. Now I'm irritated. They won't say, I have a thought of this. I have an irritating thought. Shall I deal with it? This is where Raja Yoga comes in. You become more aware of what's happening in the mind, and you want to manage it. Now, after you are aware of your body, you are aware of your mind, comes the third yoga, which is called the Jnana Yoga. Jnana means the yoga of knowledge. Where should knowledge come from? Eventually, your knowledge has to come from within. No, you read a book. When I read a book, I say, "Oh, I found all my answers." This book gave me all the answers. Could be a scripture, could be a self-development book. This book is the answer for everything. 6 months later, the person is reading another book. What happened to that exclamation? I from my own feeling and from my own observation of myself and my students and many others, that the answers which are more satisfying has to come from within. And from within means it has to come from a clearer within, not a confused within. So that's where the Jnana Yoga comes in. In fact, all the scriptures in yoga came from this state. They didn't have the universities. Right? The yoga literatures are 2 to 3,000 years old. Well, God, the universities or schools at that time, they had revelations, they had insights, they created the path and the knowledge. Profound, beautiful, universal knowledge. They spoke about humanity as one family. They didn't speak about factions or fights or discrimination, all as one. Beautiful philosophies, wonderful fundamental philosophies of nature, of nurturing, of love, compassion. Third yoga. Now, when we practice the Hatha Yoga and we have this clarity in mind, Raja Yoga, then our the awakening of knowledge and understanding and clarity, then comes the fourth yoga, which is Karma Yoga. When my body is healthy, my mind is clear, and I have a beautiful intuitive knowledge, then my actions would be right. Karma Yoga is the yoga of action, doing things, working, speaking, relationship building. All of this is action oriented. Now, can you imagine if we have clarity, we are healthy, we have clarity, we are able to contemplate well. Our actions, Malar, may not be perfect. Yoga is not about perfection, but it is about clarity and understanding. Then our actions would be mostly correct. Small errors here and there is fine. To err is human, to forgive divine. People will forgive us because the errors that comes from this kind of trained personality, body, mind, and emotions trained well, would be minimum. Then, when the fourth yoga is actions, actions give you so much of pleasure, gives you so much of contentment and happiness, and you are flowing with life. Flowing. This word "flow" is very, very big phrase in the world of self development. But the flow cannot be conditioned. The flow cannot be artificial. It has to be something that comes from your heart. When the flow comes and you are doing and you are flowing, comes the fifth yoga, which is bhakti. Bhakti means you become naturally devoted to what you are doing, devoted to your work, devoted to your NGOs, devoted to your family, devoted to humanity, devoted to nature. That is bhakti. Bhakti is not only going to the place of worship to worship. In fact, the yogis always talk about service to humanity is service to God. They're very, very practical people. They say that, okay, before you pray, serve your neighbors, serve your parents, serve your friends, serve the members of society who are stressed, who are suffering, who don't have food. Go and serve them. This service gives you that connection with yourself. So five parts. All right. I let you to speak first.
Yeah, you want to make sure that I remember the 5 yogas, right? Which is Hatha, which is the physical bit, and Raja Yoga, which is about the mind. Jnana Yoga, which I think I'm defining it as wisdom, knowledge on how,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
knowledge, yeah. Karma is which leads us to action, right? And
Correct.
finally, Bhakti, which is devotion.
First class.
I passed. Okay, I passed the first part. So what I'm
Hey.
hearing from you is this 5 different types. All of these are known as yoga, right? And
Hmm.
so when we talk about yoga, we tend to assume hatha yoga as the yoga, right? But it can't operate on its own because we are a whole complex being, right? We need the knowledge, we need the bhakti. I mean, that we need with the not we need the knowledge, the mind, right? We need to make sure our body is working for the karma, the actions that you want to take, right? All right, you need to be able to make the right choices, the wise choices, which actually comes through your jnana yoga, I believe. And finally, we are all devoted to a cause, a purpose, a meaning, right? And for some
Absolutely.
for some people, that meaning and purpose is God, but for some other people it is just pure service. And whatever you call it, this encompasses what the making of a human, which is why perhaps, maybe, please correct me, that yoga is
Mhm.
actually about the union with the self, right? Being centered, being a whole self, right? Which is why we call our series being whole, being me, right? But in my yoga,
Mhm.
in your
Yeah.
academy, what are you focused on? Are you focused on Hatha Yoga, or are you focused on, or you're saying through the asanas, through the practices, we are actually building all the 5 pillars?
Wonderful question, very relevant, and very much a question which almost everybody who comes to our programs asks. The need of this society, especially the urban city folks, is definitely physical stretching and slow movements, incorporating breath, Malar. Because before even think talking about meditation or mindfulness, one should be able to sit in a way which is comfortable. If I want to practice, many people want to practice mindfulness. Do you know why, Malal? Because it's easy, huh? It's easy. You don't have to do anything. Okay, mindfulness, meditation, close the eyes, relax. Close the eyes and relax. First question is, this word relax is ancient, is alien. People don't understand what is relax. All right, now everybody close the eyes, relax. Close the eyes, relax. Close the eyes. You cannot relax. The moment they close the eyes, so many thoughts come in. One of the main reasons why people are so addicted to the social media and TV and movies is that they cannot switch off the mind. They have to switch on something else to take over the mind. So can you imagine then asking people to close the mind and relax? You say, oh my God, close the eyes and relax. So many thoughts which I want to avoid now is coming in. That's the reason why many individuals, millions of people who go into meditation stop halfway. The turnover is very high. First, we must teach them to relax in Hatha Yoga. Hatha Yoga first. Come, stretch yourself gently, focus on your breathing, release the stresses that are pent up in your physical body, which are structured in the physical body. In the sense that when the anatomy of stress, let me explain the anatomy of stress. Now, when we are working, let's say one of your bosses come and say something, this work is not so good, Money, what are you doing? Are you daydreaming or not? I have given you 4 days ago, you are still sitting on it. I feel, oh my God, so much of stress. Now the stress, the feeling creates a stress in my head, in my jaw. I cannot smile. How can I smile when this kind of situation is happening? So the stress here, I can't smile. My mind is troubled. Then it goes to the back of the neck. Oh my God, pain now, very stressful, painful, and then it travels down the backbone. It travels down. I start having lower back pain, so painful. I cannot sit here. Then from the head, from here, the mind created that inability to handle it, goes to the back of the neck, pain, cervical spondylosis, high blood pressure, go down, lower back pain, lower back, then goes to the pelvic region, the anal region, constipation. Oh yeah, constipation. Malar, people come to Hatha Yoga, do a little bit of stretches, 3 days later, constipation disappears. Isn't this psychosomatic? We are talking generally. And then from there, constipation. Then from constipation, it goes up a little bit more. Then you have this entire range of reproductive organ issues. Impotency, premature ejaculation, inability to conceive, this, that. And then from there, the stress goes to the stomach area. Digestion issues, ulceration, then comes up to the pectoris, your chest, angina pectoris. This is just a simple pain. Angina pectoris is just simple pain. But then they start imagining, oh, I cannot breathe. Maybe I have a heart problem. And this fear creates a compounded panic. Maybe half of those people who actually, very sorry to say this, many people have died during the pandemic. I think most of it is not so much COVID related, but panic related. They see all these WhatsApp messages. I'll come back to yoga and tell you why this is. Looking at all these WhatsApp messages, seeing people die, and then with the ventilator, they especially those who have maybe simple depression or anxiety, they start feeling very congested. They feel that they are unable to breathe, and they tell the family members, I think I have this COVID. I have COVID because I cannot breathe. But then it may not be COVID. Now, our some of the officials are saying that we think that it is not, the deaths are not so many related to COVID. Do we see this coming now? They say that it could be some other causes, but we just lumped it together. My prediction is that major portion of those who actually died in the hospitals were because of this misunderstanding of angina pectoris, and then panic because of everybody talking about these issues of inability to breathe. The first thing that we do in yoga is to liberate the breath. If many people had been exposed to yoga in the beginning, I think we would have contained the pandemic easily. In our yoga,
I'm gonna stop you there because I think you've
sorry.
touched on. No, don't be sorry. I love your question. I'm going to stop you there because I think you're touching on something that's really important and really relevant right now that we are struggling with. So I'm going to just ask you to pause for a bit. And for the people who are listening to us, just throw in the question because you see how passionate Mani is about this and how confident he is about this. And whether we like it or not, the pandemic is going to be an ongoing thing. So I think it's great if people could bring in the question. I am just going to address a couple of comments. Daniel Go says that he's able to pull off Savasana pose well every day, and he is very happy. I asked you the question on sex. Gerald says he learned a lot. Shamini says I was naughty. Shamini Arumugam says that's a bold question with a sensible and logical answer. So my question was bold, your answer was sensible and logical, so they enjoyed your answer. So basically everybody wanted to know the answer. It's just that I asked the question. Okay, now Nate has a question, and I'm going to come back to your pandemic thing because I thought we have 20 minutes. I want to deal with this. Nate Kumar, he's a friend. He says, I practice with a guru. He teaches classical yoga and learned a lot, but I'm afraid to follow him because he's very strict. He's not friendly like Manila. Okay, can I follow another teacher?
Okay, Kumar. So classical yoga normally comes from very classical teachers. Therefore, they are very strict. You can follow another teacher, or you can practice those asanas and techniques which your very strict teacher taught you. He must have taught you a lot of techniques. You could take this body of practices and practice by yourself according to your capacity in a more enjoyable manner. In a classroom setting, maybe it's very stressful since he is strict. He must definitely have a very good reason why he is like that. Maybe the school that they come from, all that is fine. We respect our teachers. But since he has already given you this knowledge, I propose that first you take some time off and you start practicing by yourself. Get a certain flow which makes you feel very comfortable, and you begin to understand your relationship with yoga first. Then when you go to a teacher, the next teacher you go to, you would be able to see whether that is in tune with your yearnings and inclinations of how you want to approach yoga. Basically, this is what you need to look for when you are learning. But it has to be very comfortable, and you should not be forced beyond your comfort level. That means that the instructor or the teacher must come near you and say that, wonderful, you please go according to your capacity. If you cannot, if you feel uncomfortable, I don't use the word cannot. If you feel uncomfortable with this forward bending, not necessary for you to bring your forehead to touch the knee. It's fine. You can just go according to your capacity. Feel free and use your creative approach. As long as it looks like that particular asana which I'm teaching, it's fine. This is how I approach my students and my classes. Kumar, thank you for this beautiful question.
So Mani, what I'm hearing is that you're saying check in with your comfort level, and what I'm also hearing is that check in what is it that you are seeking in yoga. Is that what I heard from you? Hello?
The line got
I can hear you. I can hear you. Sorry. So I'm not sure whether you heard my question. So from your answer to Nate Kumar, what I'm hearing is that when we are looking out to practice yoga, we seem to be seeking something. So So what I heard when you spoke to Nate is that you need to know what you're seeking in yoga. Is that what you were saying? Okay, at this moment, Master Manisekaran is taking a break because I think the question was too difficult. So I'm going to handle all the questions that's coming up here. So ask me questions that I can answer, okay? So we'll wait for Master Mani to come back. And Gerald, I see your question, but, hopefully, we'll have him back to answer this question. Hi, Nimala. Thank you very much for joining us. Glad you're getting great insights. One LinkedIn user, I don't see the name, says you like, how Master Mani is always on point. Shamini Arumugam says, negativity has generated plenty of unnecessary chaos, definitely. Daniel, yeah, I know, I didn't know Savasan is actually your lying down post. I didn't know I took you seriously. I'm glad that the first thing you thought as teachers is to introduce the concept of comfort and joy. Yeah, so thank you for coming back. I'm so glad you didn't run away because I won't know how to answer all the questions. I just got some.
Just went to Shavasana.
Okay, I will learn some of these words in our next interview. But before that, so what I was saying is that when you answered Nate Kumar's question, you seem to I got two things, right? What are the two things I got? So one is you're saying that what is it that you asked Nate, what is it that you're looking for in yoga? Right? Because whenever we're seeking anything, we are seeking something within, which is expressed externally, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So, and we are seeking something, but the seeking is coming from within us, right? So find out what is it that you're actually seeking, right? Number one. And number two, you also said, look, I love the way you said, look for your comfort. So listen when the self is talking, when it's uncomfortable, whether it's uncomfortable, would it be fair for me to say whether it's a discomfort that you physically feel, or it's a discomfort that you emotionally feel or spiritually feel? There's a discomfort basically for me. It means that I am feeling a little bit disconnected inside. I need to bring it back. So what you're saying is listen to what your inner self is saying, because yoga, in essence, as you say, is actually being harmonious as a person, being in union with yourself, right?
True, Malar. After some time, why Kumar is feeling like this is, in the beginning, I'm sure he didn't feel this. So this feeling of this contemplation right now about what is the next step came about because of those classes that he has taken. Something has triggered inside. Some fundamental changes has occurred inside him as he practiced now. His intuition is telling him there must be something more. There has to be something more deeper than what is being taught, and that maybe it is not necessary to be so strict. I think I have to move on. That's what he's feeling. So the teacher has done him a lot of good. He has sparked within Kumar that intuition to go to the next step.
Nice. Thank you. So Nate, you need to look for the next master, but before that, contemplate, find yourself, connect with yourself, and then move forward. I'll give you Master Mani's number later. Gerald has a question. He says, Mani, I'm relatively an active person. This guy is not active. This guy is obsessed with fitness. Okay. So it's not active. He's obsessed. Okay. Mani, I'm relatively an active person, but have never done yoga before. I want to start, and what would your advice be to a total beginner like me?
Beautiful question, very humble and very nice question. My advice would be to go for beginners hatha yoga. Remember, beginners hatha yoga. Take it very easy. Go according to your capacity. Talk to the teacher first before you go to class. Talk to the teacher. Tell the teacher that this is what you are, that you are a beginner and you want to take it easy and you want to be given freedom to go according to your capacity. You need to talk to them about this in the beginning, and then go slow. be in the beginners class for a few months. It doesn't matter. There is no hurry. We are not training for the Olympics, right? None of us are. But sometimes I tell you, in the classes I see the way the students do things is like, going for the next competition. Not necessary. Just, and I remind them, which I want to tell you right ahead right now, Gerald. Go according to your capacity and thoroughly enjoy. Beginner's class is the best. Suzuki wrote this book, The Beginner's Mind. He said the expert never learns anything. Always be a beginner, be somebody who is a student. I consider myself as a student. All the time I go and teach. Whenever I'm teaching, I am learning something. I open up to learning. I have progressed so much teaching, learning from my students. So therefore, you be like that. You be a beginner and a student and continue to do. But now also keep that side away. That means when you are practicing, let's say jogging or badminton or hockey or football or rock climbing, go ahead and do it in that manner. That is the requirement of that sport. But the requirement of yoga is slow and steady. Relax, enjoy. There's not someone mentioned about shavasana. Shavasana is the relaxation posture. That is something that everyone should master and enjoy. Such a beautiful contribution of yoga for stress management. Thank you so much, Gerald. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Gerald, that means you start beginner even though you're a master in your field. And what I'm hearing also is don't mix the rules of different fields, right? Because the rules that apply in your other active fitness, will, so don't mix it. Just go with the school of thought and start with the beginner. All right. Okay. So fantastic. If you have any other question, you have got 5 more minutes throwing the question. We basically don't have any more questions, which means that I am going to ask you some questions. We have 2 other people who've joined us. Patpal Singh. Hi, Malarji. Yeah, Master G. He is Maniji. He's not Master G. He said he's Maniji because he came late. He didn't know that.
Money.
Right.
Money.
Money. Puganeswari says, Vanakkam, Master. And Gerald says, thank you, Master. Money for excellent advice. Valuable. I'll get your contact from Malar. We will put his contact here shortly because I think you are having a yoga teachers instructors program soon coming up, right? Now let's go back to a very important question which you were talking about, which you were very passionate. I'm sorry to have cut you off. You got so angry that you got out just now, but never mind. Now, so what you were saying is that, so we naturally understand that, when it comes to pandemic or COVID, it's exaggerated with COVID because there's a lot more that we are dealing with than our normal stress, right? So for me, the very simple logic, I'm very simple minded right now, you would know that, right? I just need to I think while everyone is talking about SOPs and wearing masks and doing all of that, but not many people for me are talking about how do I keep my immunity at a healthy level. Because what stress does is stress brings our immunity down. And when your immunity is down, you get physical illness. Only then we pay attention. The illness, I think the onset of illness has been there for a long time. It is just the manifestation at the physical level comes much later. And that's when we unfortunately seek help, right? It's like, the aches and pains are there, but we take it as normal. I shouldn't, I don't realize I'm not listening to my body, which is why I think, it's fantastic because with Hatha Yoga, what you're doing is you're teaching people to listen to the body first and relax the body because the body is holding all the memories and pain, right? That's fantastic. And of course, you did say that, the importance of breath work, because without breath, there's no life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's without breath, there's no life. And to live, we need to breathe, and we need to breathe well in a way that the body can live to its optimal potential, right? Whether it's the body or whether it's the mind, but the whole self actually is very dependent on breath, right? And with COVID, with a lot of anxiety, with all the stories that we hear, we lose our centeredness. We lose control of ourselves, right? We're not able to now say, hey, let me just focus on keeping myself healthy and keeping the toxic away, because I now lose the ability to be centered. I don't know how to manage myself. I lose myself to the space, which now means I'm vulnerable, right? Because my immunity goes down and anything can hit me. And of course, in the air, there's so much of COVID around that it's easiest to be hit by COVID,
Mm.
right? But tell us, I summarize my bad lah. Very good. Master Mani said I'm not bad at summarizing. Good. So if those are things that's actually happening, Master Mani, tell us, for those who are listening, right, what is that one golden nugget, one advice that you would give us from the science and art of yoga we can do with our breath work and with yoga that can help us recenter as quickly as we can so that we can get through this too? What would your thoughts be?
Definitely, there is a simple and effective technique to do that. But before that, I would like to also mention from my uh, 1 hour here, and also to kind of like acknowledge that you have been so wonderful in summarizing and understanding the whole concept of yoga within this short period of time. I'm just fascinated about your ability to capture the essence and relate it in the way where many people may take years to. This shows how good a teacher you are, how present you are in your awareness and the qualities that you bring to your talk show. I'm really fascinated and glad that I have been part of this journey. The way you summarize Mala is how I would have summarized it. It's so beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Whoever my students here who are here would really appreciate whatever that you have mentioned. Thank you so much for that sharing. And coming back to the fundamentals of the practice, when we master the breath, we are able to manage many things in our lives. When somebody is very angry, their breathing is very short. When they panic, their breathing is short and fast. When you see someone involved in a motor or car accident, let's say you are part of that, they come out from the car, and if they are, you better stay in the car, you run away, because you already know in the way they are breathing, they are going to be violent. But if somebody comes out from the car, you hit them from the back and they come out, and then they stretch, they take a deep breath in, you already know there is peace. This is the nugget. This is the nugget. The nugget is, anytime you feel that you are about to lose it, or you feel disconnected with yourself, this is what you need to do. And this we do every time in class, in between the yoga postures. I tell my students to bring their arms down, cross, and then inhale, raise the arms sideways, and look up and cross the hands above the head. Inhale and pause 2-3 seconds. And then exhale, bring the arms down and cross and look down. Sometimes we have to be grounded a bit. Look down, exhaling. And one more time, breathing in, look up at the sky for inspiration. So inspiring to look at least, once in a while, look at the sky, look at the plants, look at the surroundings, and then exhale, look at your own toes, look at your feet, look at the ground. So this not only has a breathing improvement, a method, but also when you move your arms, you're also exercising your arms, you're exercising your intercostal muscles. The intercostal muscles are the ones that are the primary muscles for breathing. In yoga, we can train them. So what I am, the sharing that I could do today is this beautiful art of deep breathing, which is yoga posture, raising the hand, and pranayama, deep breathing. And when you do in this way, where it is slow and connected with the duration of breath, where you're stretching the breath, mindfulness comes in. So physical exercise, breathing exercise, and mindfulness. The mind will follow when you connect the movement with slow and deep breathing. And always remember, have time for a pause. It's not only breathing in and breathing out, breathing out. Breathe in, enjoy the pause for a while. So this is my short sharing. Thank you so much, Malab. Thank you
Oh
so
no,
much.
I'm not letting you go
Ah,
yet. Hold on,
oh,
don't
okay,
run
okay,
away.
okay.
I'm not. I'm the one who says goodbye to you. You don't say goodbye to me,
Oh,
okay?
okay, 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 okay. All right, thank you.
You almost finished. No, no, we're not letting you go. I haven't even started with the questions I had prepared for
All
you.
right, right, right. Because you said that nugget means I thought it's the
No, no. We need more nuggets from you. So, but would just hang in.
okay.
You have another 10 minutes for us,
Sure, sure.
okay?
Take
Because
your time. I'm here for you.
thank you. So, because you gave me a compliment, I really floated with the compliment. So I need to come back, recenter myself to ask you the questions. See what you
Yeah,
just.
Mother. Sorry, Mother. Later, if I have time, I want to address the pandemic issue about these congestions of breathing. Later, we can come back. Okay, please
Yeah,
continue.
let's do that. But because you see, every time you give me one answer, I have another question, right?
Yeah.
So what you just said about recentering in terms of physically recentering your body, and then you spoke about breathing, right? I
Yes.
mean, we know in stress management, stress is really shallow breath, and you spoke about pranayama or deep breathing, right? If you can just enlighten us a little bit, I think we underestimate the power of the breath. We
Mm,
underestimate the power of taking deep breath to calm down the body. Because I dare say this, having been in this industry for 20 years, we almost idol worship what we call the mind, and we
mm,
all believe the mind is sitting here. You're right. There's a lot of research which I'm very passionate about, which now says that your body has its own intelligence, and it's the mind is all over, right? And we're not listening to our body. And breathing is the most fundamental, basic, core way to first start healing before you learn how to use your mind and try and make it either more complex or solve it, right? Sometimes we complicate simple stuff. Some things that you could have just solved with breathing
mm.
to put your body into a calm state. Again, we don't do, right? So can you just, before we handle the pandemic thing, right? Can you just tell us, it really was a little bit about deep breathing and how deep breathing actually heals the body.
Some of the research that I have studied over the last 10, 20 years, which came from two very major breakthrough data clinical studies, shows that those who are highly stressed or suffering from depression and anxiety, the breathing is almost like 30 to 30 to 35 times a minute, Mala.
Mm.
By intervening in reducing the number of breath per minute. Let's say from 32 they were trained to slow down the breath to 15 per minute over a period of 2 to 3 weeks. Anxiety and depression disappeared for those who have been suffering from it for 15, 20 years, taking medicine and drugs and going for interventional therapies and all. Just by changing the breath, they were able to bring them down. Now, from 32 to 15, how do we do this? We need to prolong the inhalation. In yoga we have, when we ask in the instructor's course, what is breathing, they say breathing in, breathing out. Then we will tell them, no, it's not only breathing in, breathing out. There are 4 stages of breath. One is breathing in, two, holding the breath in, three, breathing out, four, holding the breath out. Now, these two, holding the breath in and holding the breath out, only according to capacity. You have to be comfortable, maybe 5 to 6 seconds. Then the first one and the third one, which is breathing in and breathing out, it should not be, no, it has to be Even seeing me do this, you'll feel calmer, right? Now, when you see me, you get anxiety, you get angry, right? But when you see me, 10 minutes over. so, so these are things which are the basic things which all of us can do here is slow down the inhalation, enjoy it, enjoy and slow down the inhalation, and then pause naturally for a while, then exhale slowly, enjoy, be connected with your breath, and then pause at the end of the breath. Then inhale again slowly, pause, exhale. I assure you that your breath, when you do this, would be down to almost 9 per minute. From 30, getting upset or excited, so many things happening around you. You just like, oh ma, I cannot do anything, I'm tired. So I just want to give up. Then you just do the sit on the chair, take 1 or 2 deep breathing just now, which I showed you, and then focus on the breath. The next thing you will see, Malar, is that the person will naturally close their eyes. Naturally, the moment they start focusing on slowing down the breath, they will close their eyes. They would be connected with a more calmer state. I'm not talking about some kind of a super conscious state or some kind of mystical experience. No, just the simple essence that is within us. So this is where the discovery comes in. The discovery that, hey, there is peace inside me. There is a place where I can withdraw and touch base with a stronger state of centeredness. Now this whole structure of life is about the outside, right? I go outside. No, nothing at all wrong with this. That I go out, I spend time with my friends, with my family, cycling, talking, eating ice cream, taking big dinners, all fine. Buying a new car, house, getting a lot of money in the bank, everything is fine. But have you noticed that is all temporary for that moment only? No, the night that we spent, such a beautiful night we spent with our family, having a beautiful dinner, having a nice ice cream for dessert, come back home just in the car, one simple word or argument, finish. Can you all relate to that? Right?
Can. How can cannot? Sure can. One. We all, most people are married people sure can relate. Don't worry. Single people cannot relate, but married people can relate. You know what? I wanted to tell you more than
Ah,
your breathing calming me down. I think what calms me down when I see you is your dimple.
I was waiting for you to come.
See, and for those who agree that his dimple actually calms you down, you can put it on chat. At least we can Master Money some feedback that you usually won't give in his class. So now let me ask you this, right? When I breathe in, so I understand the idea of breathing and calming yourself down, right? Because there's a lot of
Mhm.
science around it. In fact, there's this great writer on trauma. He and I think I sent you the video
Yes, yes.
day, right? Where they have found out that yoga and breathing exercises has proven over and over again to get people not just out of depression without medication, but even has got people out of traumatic life experiences to heal from trauma. And that's my current interest with you, definitely, Master Mani. I think you
Mm.
know that because there's so much. I mean, there's enough data to say depression is on skyrocketing right now.
Yeah,
Mental health is skyrocketing, and antidepressants are skyrocketing.
absolutely.
And now we have enough science to prove that yoga practices actually beats all the therapy, because you say
Yes.
yoga is therapy, you said yoga is therapy, right? And all the medication that one is taking would actually interface with the brain, yeah, total brain. And I'm hoping that we can call you back to just discuss that from a mental health point of view, That means you're saying yes in public now, right? That means you cannot say no later, okay? All right. Okay, good. So we want to explore that. But before you leave, oh, Dr. Thayalan is here. Dr. Thayalan Sridhar is an amazing doctor, medical doctor, who also does touch therapy, and he learns all sorts of things. He cures people with a touch, right? That's what Dr. Thayalan. Yeah, someone from LinkedIn saying yes all the time. Those dimples are what I look out for, and the person doesn't have a name, Master Money. I hope your wife is not watching, but never mind. We'll park that. He is becoming less calmer now, so it's working. Focus on the dimple to affect his calmness. Let's go to your really golden nugget. So tell us about the wisdom you wanted to leave us about the pandemic and the congestion, that happens. If you can leave us with that, we'd be very, very grateful, because we know we're calling you back for mental health. You have already said yes.
Thank you, Mother, and thank you, everyone who has commented. Yoga is complementary therapy. Complementary. We do not call ourselves as alternative therapy. Many of my students and many of those individuals we work with are doctors and from the medical profession. We work together. Complementary. Alternative therapy means you stop that and you go completely here. I think we have already gone out of that phase, and we are all very matured in our industries. I am sure Malar also will agree that when she talks about stress management, she will still tell those participants to continue taking the medications, but maybe after some time you can talk to your doctors to maybe reduce the Prozac or antidepressant medicines because you feel good now. So that's how we go into the entire concept of complementary therapies or complementary medical therapies. Yoga is definitely a medical therapy, but it is more of a holistic concept. Now, if somebody is having a certain depression or breathing issues, they can continue with the medicine, no issue. But as they practice, it becomes reduced. Now, coming back to the question that we spoke about, the yoga community, my yoga community, my students, the students who are from maybe 85 years old to many of them in their 40s and 50s, not one person who is practicing, who is still currently practicing, had any issues during the pandemic. That means we did not have in our yoga community one casualty also. They were diagnosed with COVID-19 and whatnot. When they asked me, I said, go ahead with whatever therapies or medication that you have to go through. Fine, go get yourself vaccinated. All of these things which are in the mainstream, go. But we did not lose anybody. But we lost members, family. That means my students, some of their family members passed away during this pandemic, and they were not practitioners. So I relate this very much to the practice of deep breathing. When we are practicing now, when you are well and you're practicing deep breathing, when all of this panic takes place, you would still remain calm. You go to the hospital. Some of my students were admitted. They went to the Sungai Buloh hospital. They went to some of the hospitals. They actually saw people who panicked and died next to them. And what they did was, I had one student who told me, he said that I told this person, please come. After this person passed away, he looked at the other person, the next person who said, oh, dia sudah mati. Oh, saya pun sakit, saya pun takut. And he said, okay, Pakcik, you relax, cool down, tarik nafas, slowly tarik nafas. And Malar, it worked. It worked. And this student of mine said that the next person would have died looking at the person who panicked when he was not able to breathe. And there was not enough ventilators and oxygen tanks. No? But this is eyewitness proof of how breathing can tackle these issues. I'm not saying don't get vaccinated, all of that. Get vaccinated, get all whatever medicines that you need, but please start practicing deep breathing right now and always remain centered in situations which are tricky and which can cause panic. And you, when you are steady, your family members will be steady. Your parents would be calmer. If they have that kind of panic, you can say, "Appa, calm down, relax, relax. Okay, relax, lie down, relax, take a deep breath in." You and I and everybody here are learning the art of using slow and kind words, and then telling people to calm down, take a slow breath in, can save lives. I'm very confident about this, Mala. Complementary therapy, not alternative, complementary therapy. We work with everybody, Mala.
Nice. So your greatest golden nugget is, as we go through the pandemic, first and foremost, learn how to stay calm, learn how to breathe deeply to stay calm, and so that, whatever comes, it will come. But because of our calmness, we will be centered enough to help ourselves by staying healthy. Or if we go on to the space of being slightly unhealthy, the body will know how to come back and heal itself to health, is what you're saying. So two big things: stay calm first, and how can you stay calm? Breathe well. That's basically,
Definitely.
yeah, that's what you're basically saying. There is a question which I'm not going to allow you to answer, but I'll connect both of you. Nimala says that, she wants to know connection with yoga, deep breathing, and PET scan finding from for cancer patients. And she said there would be some positive association. Nimala, I will connect you to Master Mani and and Chitra. Right, Chitra Karthikeyan, they are two good people, because Chitra is another brilliant mind around this, right? Yeah.
I know Chitra.
Yeah. So she's one of those like Master Mani, cannot call you Manila. All right. So, okay, but never mind. You gave me permission. So I really want to thank you for your time, for really bringing yourself up so humbly, simply, and, bringing the dimple out all throughout the program so that we can enjoy it. I'm making a Friday. And like what I said, I would love to explore yoga and its impact on mental health. We want to look at some sciences so that, we get this out there, right? And you've been running we never even went to, like, when did you start Mind Yoga? How long has your Mind Yoga Association, Academy has been around, Master Mani?
I started the Malaysian, sorry.
Yeah,
I started the Malaysian Yoga Society in 2004, the Malaysian Association of Yoga Instructors in 2007. I started teaching in 1998. Wow. I started practicing in 1982.
Okay, and when were you born? Okay, don't answer the question. It was one of the naughty questions. You can message me though, because you started in 1982, so I want to know when you were born. But that's it's not for public consumption, so you'll message me on that, because you want to know how early you got started. But so thank you very much. Two things that I think we never got to cover. Master Mani has written a book on sleep, and it's absolutely beautiful. I bought the book thinking that he's going to tell me step 1, 2, 3 about how to sleep, and I was so disappointed because what he was doing is that he was helping me to read one story a day and recenter. So get his book. We'll put My Yoga's Facebook connection here. Connect with Master Mani, connect with what he's doing. And after this, I think for those, he started when he was 60. Now we can count your age. Okay, now I'll do the calculation afterwards. That's Chitra, I think. For those who are interested in yoga, Master Mani has said, join the beginners group. I think has given enough information. But for those who are practicing yoga and you want to reach out to more people and make this part of your devotional practice and service to the world, I think Master Mani is starting a new program, yoga instructors program, and we're just going to put it up just after this. So with that, Master Mani, is there anything else you would like to say to the audience before we bid you goodbye?
Thank you so much for coming this afternoon in this program with Mala. I'm sure it has been enjoyable only because Mala is here with her bubbly personality and beautiful smiles. Thank you so much, Mala. I can only thank you for really, somehow we got connected. Mala was my neighbor many, many years ago. And then we kept connected maybe once every 10 years. So then the last few weeks we got connected at a better level, at a deeper level, only through online, because I've not been able to see her. I think last I met you physically was 20 years ago, Mala.
No, I don't want to say so much.
Okay,
Not
all
20,
right,
not
all right.
20, not
But she
20.
was a teenager 20 years ago.
Yes, that's
All
right.
right. Thank you so
You
much,
got
everyone.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mani. So thank you very much. Thanks for coming, and thanks for bringing your joyful personality. So as we say bye to Master Mani, yes, I would promise to bring you back.
Money,
Please,
money, money.
money, money, money,
No
money.
master, no
Okay,
master. Money.
okay, no master, just money. Thank you very much for coming. Please connect with him. Get his book if you want to sleep better. And look out for the video that we're going to play if you want to become an instructor and change the world and influence the world and make it a better place with yoga. As we say that, thank you for joining us. For all the new people, next week we're bringing another exciting guest for you. So join us again 12 o'clock next Friday, same time, same place. With that, signing off, this is Malal from Hearts and Minds. Stay safe, breathe deep, and stay calm. With that, have a beautiful weekend. Bye.